check your employment contract. You need to make sure what your notice period is. And you also need to check that there are no restraint of trades, that you can't accept the job that you've been offered. You also need to make sure that you're not chatting to anybody in the office. The first person in your business or in your company that must find out about your resignation must be your boss. You don't want them hearing it second hand. I think it's also very important to make sure that it is what you're wanting to do. A resignation is not a time to try and get a salary increase. Accepting a counteroffer is probably the biggest no-go in anybody's career. So make sure that you know it's what you want. Take a bit of time to reflect. Reflect on what you've enjoyed about the company, because when you prepare your resignation, you need to put some positives in. That resignation letter is going to be on your personal record file for many years to come. Make sure it's good. Your resignation letter needs to be dated. It needs to have your last working day on there, which is obviously based on your notice period in your letter of appointment. And on that score, never extend your notice. Always only give as much as you need to. You need to put in an introduction, and that introduction is a thank you to them for what you've learned. The body of it as to a little bit possibly on why you're resigning, and then to conclude it. Most importantly, it needs to be positive. It's going to stay on your personnel file. Keep it positive. The first thing that your recruiter or your future employer is going to do when you let them know that you've resigned is they're going to phone for a final reference. So it's very important to make sure that in that last month and in your resignation and in your exit interview, there are no little knives that you get in just to tell them a little bit about what you thought of them. This is a time to make sure that they remember you positively, because what you're wanting is the best possible reference. And a sure way to make sure you don't get that positive reference is if you've been chatting to colleagues in the office and if your boss hears it second hand that you're planning on resigning. But leaving on a positive note, if you've worked for 10 years and in 10 years you've had a perfect track record, but in the last month you don't get your work up to date, do a proper handover, be positive, be motivated, you'll end up not getting the reference that you deserve after such a good tenure.